Okay, today I have a test of the Prince Without Feet. Any chapter in particular you want to discuss? Yes? Making of Scientist I had discussed earlier, right? Yeah, Boli. First of all, let's discuss hack driver. Okay? Open the window also. Who kept his specs over there? Kunal, open the window also, please. Okay, so hack driver. So the hack driver, it's a story about a young lawyer, and he comes with lots of hopes and ambitions that he's going to join this new office. And it seems as if he feels that the moment he joins, he's going to be very powerful, and he'll be just ordering others about, right? And that is a difference between textbook learning and life. So when he comes over there, he has to start from the bottom. And everything, it is very sure that whenever you start from in life, you have to learn the basics. It's only then you reach the top, and that is when you are very confident, and with experience, you are able to handle the situation. Now the young lawyer, he's joined this office, and they given an important task. What is that? Of giving summons to this person. Now who's the person they have to call? That is Oliver Lutkins, right? So he goes to this place. What is that place? Yes, New Valiant. And he has to find this person and give him the notice, because he is required as an important witness in some case. And when he is of course disappointed that I should not be doing such low works and all, it's not for me, and look at me so highly educated and everything. When he goes over there, he finds a person he tells him that what he has come for, the purpose of his visit, that he has to serve a summon to this person, Oliver Lutkins. So there's a hack driver, and he is ready to help him, and the hack driver gives his name as Bill Magnuson. Yes, that's his name. His name is Bill Magnuson. And he says that I know this person, and I will help you find him. Strangely enough, yes, as you have read the story, you all know that Bill Magnuson takes him to a number of places. He says he must be at the barber's, then wherever he goes to play the games over there, and then he says he must have gone to his mother's house, right? So he takes him to all these places. But Oliver Lutkins, it seems he had just been there, and he's gone from that place, right? So he's not found. And the hack driver is very helpful, and he's there with the man throughout. And this young lawyer is really impressed at such a helpful person. And he thinks that all villagers are like this. They're very helpful, they're very cooperative. And he thinks that if I start my practice over here, if I start working over here, I'll be quite successful. Yes? So he thinks about that also. But what are the things that he does not realize? That right now what is happening with him? That the villagers whom he thinks to be very innocent and very helpful, that one of them is right now making a fool of him. And how is he doing that? How is he doing that? So he takes him to one place and he says, you wait outside, I'll go inside. And he goes inside, asks about Oliver Lutkins. He comes out with the same reply always. What is it? That man had been over here, and somebody saw him here and somebody saw him there. And then, yes, he says that we'll have to go to his mother's place. And what impression does he give about the mother? That she's very angry woman. She's a very short-tempered lady. She's very big and strong, and she will be very, angry and annoyed that why have you come looking for her son. And then during lunchtime also he says, yes, you must be very hungry, And so he arranges a lunch for him, and he charges him money for that. He says, my wife can prepare you lunch, and yes, so he charges for that also, and he charges more than that is required, isn't it? But this man is not bothered, because he thinks that where am I going to charge all the money to? To the company only, right? So I'll get it back. So he's not much bothered, and that is why he keeps a hack driver also with him the whole day, and he really enjoys the company of that person, right? So they go to the, like his mother's place, Oliver Lutkin's mother's place, and the mother, yes, she's quite annoyed and angry, and he goes, Bill Magnuson goes inside and he says, let me go, I'll talk to her. And he talks to her and he comes back, and no, Oliver is not there. Why does it happen that wherever they go, Oliver has just been before there, and they do not find Oliver? Right? So yes, the young man is, of course, disappointed that he had to do this work. It's such a simple work of finding someone and giving them that summon, right? He goes back to his office, and the next day again he sent back, but this time he sent with some other person from the office who knows that man, who has seen him. And when he goes there, and the moment they reach that place, who is there? The hack driver. The hack driver is none other than Oliver Lutkins, right? And Oliver Lutkins is, like very surprised, and he is really laughing, and he says that, yes, we really enjoyed at the expense of this young lawyer. And yes, the mother is also standing, but he says that, see, one thing is there, we have the simple request. He says, I'll definitely accompany you. I'll be there as a witness, but there's one family in the village who did not see this young man. So they want you to go to their house, and, they want to meet you. They want to see that how can someone be so innocent and simple. And generally we think of village people as being simple, right? And innocent, but they're surprised that someone who considers himself to be highly educated, who thinks him to be very, literate and aware and a confident person, and how he has been made a fool of by the simple villagers. So Oliver Lutkins was none other than Bill Magnuson, the hack driver. What is the important lesson that the young lawyer learns? Bookish knowledge is not enough. Practical knowledge is very, very important. And unless and until you don't go outside to meet people, you don't know the reality of life, you are never going to learn, and you're never going to grow. Yes, experiences, life is not gained from textbooks. Experience is there outside the textbook, right? So here it is, because he thinks that, and that is generally what we also think, you've got your degree, and now I'm going to join my job, and I'm going to have a big fat bank balance. But that balance does not come overnight. You have to really work hard for it. You are going to learn, you are going to feel upset, and as you grow, you will become better, and you will become more confident, right? And there are many lessons that only life can teach us. Definitely textbooks tells us about the situations, but how to deal with the situation. We know that, okay, fine, this is the way, a transaction takes place. So this is how I'm going to buy things. And this is how online, shopping is done. But unless and until you don't try it out yourself, you're never going to learn. You go to the shop to buy things, you will learn, right? You go with one thing in mind, I have to buy this thing. But when you go to the shop, you find so many things like that. Which is the best? How are you going to decide? Little things here. These little things, they add to your bigger experience, right? You're going to meet so many people on the way. On the way, that is, as you grow in life. It's not only your friends there, but when you work, the working atmosphere, it's going to be entirely different. You'll have people who are competing with you. You'll have people who are cooperative. You will learn that people who are unkind. And each one of them is going to give you an experience, right? So like when you see scientists at work, so it is not that, of course, they thought about something and they got that formula for it, and overnight it was like a eureka moment for them. No, it is lots of hard work. And they also have to face failures, but they don't give up. They're not disappointed, right? So this is what life is about. We are going to have happy moments. We're going to have funny moments. We're going to have moments when you're going to be upset and disappointed. And that is what life is about. And this was the important lesson that this young lawyer learned. It's not that you are there just because you are more qualified than somebody. It does not make you more powerful and more confident. There are things that we learn even from the simplest people around. Yes? So sometimes even the people who come to help in the house, they also teach us so many things. Right? So we learn so many things from them. The gardener may be giving you a tip or two. Right? So this there is you go to the mechanic there and he also tells you should do this and you should this, and you feel that okay, I can take care of my vehicle better now. Right? So there are things that you learn from everyone, and that is what life is about. And this was one lesson that the young lawyer learned, that you just can't trust everybody. And we feel that someone who's being very sweet and who's being very helpful is the best person you can meet. Supposing if you're traveling alone, if you meet someone who is very nice and very kind to you and helping you with everything, will you trust that person immediately, or somewhere your sixth sense is going to alert you that why is he being so good? Yes, you are going to be alert, isn't it? So that is, of course, even he should have also been alert. That what are the things that could have made this young man alert? Was he focused on doing the job that he was given? Was he doing it wholeheartedly? Or he was doing it very unhappily? And he was not so focused, so that is why he missed out little things. If he had paid attention, maybe in the second instance, he would have realized that something is wrong. What was the pattern that was happening? Oliver Lutkins went inside first, then he came out and told him that he was here, right? That he was here and he's just gone somewhere else. What should he have done? That if he has been given the responsibility, he should have accepted that responsibility and should have done that job properly himself, right? He should have gone inside and asked about that. And once or twice, if he would have gone, he would have come to know that what this person looks like. Did he even try to find out what that person looks like? No, he never asked for a photograph of that person. Or what is it there? Because when you do something, like what in a half-hearted manner, you're going to get half-hearted results also. Okay. So yes, so he could have been more alert. He could have been more focused on the job that he was asked to do. Fine. Yes. Let's start off with from the beginning here. Let's just discuss triumph of surgery. What is the message this chapter contains? Over pampering, overeating is also not good. You talk about your pets. Is it good for us? No, it's not good for us also, right? So excess of everything is bad, right? So you overeat and then, yeah, you have health issues. And right, look at poor Tricky. He had to suffer because he was pampered so much. And what actually changed him? A little change in diet, a big change in lifestyle, and he was back on his feet again, right? So he was a much happier, livelier, healthier dog. And yes, Mrs. Pumphrey, showering all her love and affection on this poor little dog, right? So all these things here, yes, we have to be a little alert and aware of how things are done. So even for us also, yeah, so we think that, okay, I can't resist my chocolates and chips and the French fries and your burgers and whatever, and I'll exercise later. Are we so determined? Are we so confident enough? So it is better that we remain a little cautious, a little alert right from the beginning. Okay. Next chapter is the thief's story. What's the message over there? Thief's story is included. Question of trust is not there. And midnight visitor is not there. These two chapters are not there. Others are there. To be honest. Yes. Trust. Okay. Now, what about Hari? He knew that he was lying. He knew he was cheating, right? He lied to Arnil that he knows how to cook. And he came to know about it the next day only when he asked him to cook. He did not know anything at all, right? When he would also give him money and everything for the grocery or for the vegetables, even that time he was not honest. Then when he saw so much of money, he decided to steal it, right? And run away with it. And yes, so what happened was yeah, he did realize that this is not going to help him in the long run. He could have stayed in a hotel for a couple of days till the money ran out. He could have gone to another place. But then what kind of a life would he start? Would he start an honest life? Would he start a respectable life? No, he would not. And naturally, you can't, with money that you have stolen, you can't expect to lead an honest life. It's going to run out. Right? So he came back, he thought about all of that, and yes, so even in the rain, he came back, and that wet money was there, and Anil must have realized, naturally, that yeah, the money is wet, but he did not say anything. Do you think that Anil's silence will go a long way in making Hari a better person? Yes. So if he started off that, okay, you did this, now I'm going to, send you to the police and you're going to be punished for this, it would have definitely taught him a lesson, but it would have also spoiled his life, right? So when we give someone a second chance, do you think that person's guilt is enough to make him realize that I have to be a better person, right? Otherwise, how does our society, what is the way that our society deals with criminals? So even if we are so bad, like as humans, sometimes what happens, yeah, I'm not in favor of the crimes that I'm talking, but sometimes a person does it out of ignorance. Or maybe the circumstances are such, maybe stealing food, or hurting someone there out of self-defense, out of hunger, right? And if we are able to give such people a second chance, what will happen? They will change, and that is what we hope. Otherwise, see what had happened to Hari always. He would change his name, take up a new job, again commit a crime. But then this person who was there so honest towards him, so understanding towards him, that even, of course, he knew the truth right from day one. He did not say anything to him. He knew that, see, this person lied to me and he took this job, right? So even then he did not say anything to him, and he could have, immediately sent him away that I don't want you to work for me. But he allowed him to. And he immediately gave him that second chance. So you give somebody a second chance, what will happen? It will be a better opportunity for that person. How can we guide or counsel these people who have gone on the wrong path? How can we help them become better persons? Yes? Educating them. We have educated criminals also. Yes? How? Yes? Yes? Huh? Hari was not educated. So education could bring, and he wanted to be that, when he thinks about himself as a respected, he wanted that respect for always, not just for once. And he thought that now, see, and in fact, Anil had also asked him, because Anil was a writer himself. And when we saw that person writing and his book being published and the money that he got for it, so it could have also brought about a change, that this respect or that fun that I'm going to have, it's going to last for a couple of days. But if I work hard, if I change myself and I become respectful, that is going to be with me throughout my life, right? Yes, education, for those who are not educated, education can bring about a change because they don't know what to do. Do you think teaching some kind of skilled labor can also make a difference? Yes, making that person independent so he doesn't have to depend on someone. So teaching them skills, right? So little work that they can do, maybe as a carpenter or a plumber, yeah. Vocational courses, skill training, so skilled courses there. So teaching that can also help when a person is self-sufficient, right? Like we see in the villages also, in other places, women are given sewing machines so that they can start sewing and they can start helping their family financially. And when people are, you can say, financially comfortable, at least they have something to make their lives go through smoothly, then they will not resort to crimes, right? Okay. Yes, so definitely counseling, education, teaching them skills, it can go a long way in bringing a change to society. If we change the way we look at the criminal also, that will also go a long way. Yes, some of the criminals here, considering the nature of the crime, considering the background, considering the circumstances, they should be given a second chance so that they can improve themselves, so that they can change themselves. Okay, right? Now, coming to the story Bholi. How does Bholi talk about the wrong practices that happen in society? Yes? What practices about one? Of course, it talks about the discrimination against the girl child. Yes? Bholi is not sent to school. Why is she discriminated? Why? Even her elder sisters did not go to school. It's not that only Bholi did not go. Then Bholi was also discriminated because of her appearance. She was slow in learning. She had pockmarks on her face, right? Because of the, yes, smallpox that she had, right? So she was discriminated. Then what about when she got married? What about the choice of groom for her marriage? He was much older than her. And yes, her parents did not have any objection because he was well off, he had money, he had shops, and they thought that that is what is required for a comfortable life, right? So it is, there we talk about the injustice that happens towards the girl child. And Bholi, how does she change her life? How does she change everybody's life around her? How does she change it? By she got education, that was her good luck, by chance there that official came and asked to send her to school. The other daughters, yes, because they were marriageable age, and that is why they did not go. So Bholi went to school, and her schooling, her education changed her life. She got that courage. What did she do at the time of her marriage? Yes, so when she saw her father being humiliated, and when the groom asked for more dowry, how she refused to get married. And she decided there and then that I will not let, my parents also be a burden, and she's decided that she's going to take care of them also. So she is what we expect from any modern educated woman to do, to stand up for herself, to raise her voice against injustice, right? And of course, to be a source of pride for her parents. And when we realize that, yes, women are as, you can say, equal as men. What is women empowerment? What is women empowerment? Yes, what is women empowerment? Power, empower, give power to someone. How can women be empowered? What will happen when they become empowered? Equality, they'll get that, yes. They'll have confidence, right? Already, yes, we have women there working and right, they're breaking all these myths which are there surrounding, you can say, their performance. So they're equal measure to measure with the men. They're taking every step forward equally. But is it happening everywhere? No, it is not happening everywhere. And how can we make this happen everywhere? Once again, there is one tool that can bring about a big change, and that is education. So when all the women are educated, they'll be able to decide what is right and wrong. At least they'll be able to taking care of their family. And once they're in charge of the family, they're taking decisions of the family, they will definitely manage things much, much better, isn't it? Right? Okay, any other chapter? Yes, any more doubts? Which one? Making of a scientist? Okay, so who's the scientist? Griffin? Okay, making of a scientist. Okay, making of a scientist. Sorry, I thought Footprints Without Feet. My mistake. Richard E. Bright is the scientist here. Yes. How did he become a scientist? What all did he work on? First of all, yes, what were his steps towards becoming a scientist? Yes, he started off with collection of things, and then he started working on the migration of the butterflies. He was tagging the butterflies. He was unhappy with that because he did not get much a favorable response. So, yes, then what did he start doing? Yes, he participated in the science competition. Did he win a prize? No, he did not win a prize because what he did was not considered to be science. Was he disappointed? He did not give up hope. In fact, he wrote to the teacher and then he asked for a list of projects, right? So he got a number of projects, and the first one that he started working upon was, on which butterfly did he work on? Monarch butterfly. What did he find out? Which butterfly copied the monarch butterfly? The viceroy butterfly copied the monarch butterfly. Yes, that the disease that beetles, monarch butterflies. Then what did he, later on, then he starts when he finds out. So then does the viceroy want to copy the monarch? Because the birds do not feed on the monarch butterfly. Then he found out, yes, he thought that the spots there which were there on the pupa, they are responsible for the change which happens, the spots which happen, yeah. And then he found out the hormone which was responsible for that change. And yes, so how he grew the monarch butterfly in the presence of that hormone, right? And he also found out the structure of that hormone, yes. And later on, all his discoveries, they led to one thing. What was that? It was the cell theory of life. And yes, he found out that there was one important component, that is the DNA. That is the blueprint of life.